Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church, and I'm here today to finish up this week of sharing various random scriptures from the Bible. Now, I hope you've gotten something out of them, and I hope they've helped you in some way or another. The Bible is full of all kinds of good stuff. There's stuff that encourages us, there's stuff that corrects us, it's stuff that guides us and leads us in the right direction. And the one thing the Bible certainly does is it provides an understanding of what truth is. I know in today's world, a lot of people question whether this is true and whether that's false, whether this is something I should do and this is something I shouldn't. And we get a lot of mixed messages in our culture. And I suppose if you didn't pick too much in the Bible, you could do the same thing with that. But I found a verse today that I just think really, as they say, hits the nail on the head. It comes from Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 19. Here's what it reads. As a face is reflected in the water, so the heart reflects the real person. Now, I'm sure you're familiar with looking into water and seeing a reflection. You can go on the internet. There are several lakes in the West that are proclaimed, each one, I think, the most photographic lake. And there's some that are just perfect mirrors. Whatever you see down in the water is exactly what's being reflected from the land up top. And it's a perfect image. Now, before they had mirrors and the kinds of access to things to look at like you and I have, even cameras and our phones. Before all of that, people used water to try to get a picture of themselves. And of course, there's the old Greek myth about Narcissus who looked into the water and fell in love with his own image, out of which comes the notion of a narcissist today who only sees themselves as worthwhile. So it's pretty clear that our face is reflected in the water. So the illustration here is as, meaning just like, in the same fashion as a face is reflected in the water, so the heart reflects the real person. Now, I don't know who you are. You don't know who I am. Some of you who listen to me, I know a good bit about you, but I really don't know who you are. A friend of mine says every time you pass a house, you always see a door as to what really goes on inside. And there's a lot of truth to that. But yet our heart really does demonstrate who we are. Now, let me give you an example. If you're somebody who's angry at everything or angry a lot, you got a heart of anger. You just do. Whether you acknowledge it or not doesn't matter. You do. If you're a person who always has to criticize, always has to say something negative, then you have a heart of criticism. And everything you see, or every person you see, you'll find something to criticize about. But on the other hand, if you have a heart of compassion and grace and love, you will live a life that reflects that. Now, I like to think of Jesus as my example. Clearly, he's the example we Christians ought to use. And Jesus didn't go around condemning people. He didn't tell them how awful they were, even when they were. He didn't go around and tell them that shame on you, you should have known better. He just invited them to turn their lives in a different direction. So a life of love and compassion is a life that tries to help others and tries to make life better, not just for themselves. There are a lot of people who do that. I mean, my goodness, you know more than I probably, or at least as many as I do. These kinds of people, they only think about themselves. Or they might smile once in a while, but that's not the big point. The point is that they are the ones that they think are important. Well, the Bible says that our heart gives us away. Yeah, it really does. Doesn't matter how you portray yourself. And you know, the neat thing about your heart and the heart giving you away is that you can't hide from it. You know what your heart is like. You know what is really going on inside. Another place it says, out of the heart, the mouth speaks. It's who we are that matters in life. Some people call it character. Some people call it integrity. We need, I think, the Bible saying it, to not try to hide. Well, if we're not compassionate people, I don't know, guess maybe you need to hide. I have another solution. Don't be, just change. Then you don't have to worry about it. But you see, God sees us in ways that other people don't. I know some folks who, if you just looked at them and just talked to them out in the way, they'd be the most congenial, smiling, loving folks you ever saw. But if you talk to their close family members, man, there's something else. And I don't want you to be that kind of a person. And more importantly, God doesn't want you to either. So I'm going to invite you today, and you've got the weekend to work at it. Look at your heart. See what you see. If you don't like what you see, change it. That's not so difficult to do. Well, God bless you for putting up with me this week, and I hope you've learned something. I hope you have a really, really great weekend. If something comes up that we can help with, that we can meet your need, let us know. We'll do whatever we can as fast as we can to help do that. Thanks so much for listening. I'll be back Monday with a whole different topic. Until then, be safe, be careful, and God bless you.